Recording. Okay, so good morning, Chad.
Good morning.
I am super excited to do this interview with you today. We got a chance to talk a little bit before this, and my reason for doing this is to bring a little bit of positivity to an otherwise negative world and negative environment that we sometimes find ourselves in. And you and I only met on LinkedIn, but I loved some of the things that you post, and I love that you always try to turn things to a positive, put a positive twist on it. And that was my reason for reaching out to you. So I'm glad we got to talk a little bit beforehand, and I'm anxious to hear some of your answers, to be perfectly honest. So tell me a little bit about you.
Well, I'm 38 years old, so I feel young, but I feel old at the same time. I'm a family guy. I've got several children, live in Utah. Been in sales and marketing professionally for, 15 years or more. And I just love human interaction. I love trying to inspire others to think of a better way, have a better perspective in life, and ultimately to learn about people's stories and just help people along the way to live a more productive and more inspired life. That's really kind of my story.
Well, thanks. So the first question that I had, and maybe it's because I've had a lot going on in my life, but sometimes people feel like they lose hope, and I personally feel like there's always hope. So, where do you see hope in the world or in your life?
Yeah, it's interesting. Hope is something that's very dynamic. It can leave you very quickly if you don't live the right specific things that lead up to hope. Hope isn't just something that's just given or just automatic. I think there's things that you can do to find hope. You can see it. For me personally, I think it's a little different for everybody, but having faith that things will work out, I think, is a big part of having hope. Showing love for your current situation, trying to find the good in others. I personally like finding it in nature. I live in Utah. I hike a lot. I go out there, and I just try to just kind of see what's out there that's inspiring and give me time to meditate. I find hope in great stories of people overcoming challenges. And I think, trying to eliminate addictions from your life, I think those things, can really lock you in and take away hope. And then also trying to live in a way that you can be happy with yourself. If you're not happy with yourself, you always be condemning yourself, and therefore you lose a lot of light or hope, or however you want to call that. So, yeah, there's several ways you can find it.
I actually like all of your answers, and I can relate to a lot of them. Nature, absolutely. Positive stories, absolutely. We have a lot of addiction between my family and friends, and it's a killer. So, and I think we're seeing it more and more. So, yeah, but you have to be able to look through and look past all those things. So,
yeah,
I love that. So, so healing. Where do you find healing?
I find a lot of healing in music. So I listen to, when I'm at the gym, I'll turn on the heart pumping music and whatnot. But when it's time to try to just meditate and kind of heal, I'll turn on, a lot of classical music or piano music or just some sort of light music, or even Enya, for, music that's, there's definitely music that can uplift, and there's definitely music that can tear down. Mm-hmm. And music is a big one. I like to read good books by great authors, or there's things that you can do. You have to feed your mind with productive and uplifting things. If you don't, then it'll play out in your life the wrong way, and you have to kind of set a moral code for yourself and standards that you can feel happy with, and then also find some good mentors that can help you, keep you on the right path. I think mm-hmm. we have our own little code, and I find a lot of healing in writing or music or doing something that's outdoors.
Mm-hmm. You had mentioned books, and when you were mentioning that, and also the outdoors, have you ever read the book Peaks and Valleys?
I have not read it, but I've heard about it. But I've got a library at my house. I've got hundreds and hundreds of books that I
Do
don't
you have
have
a
time to
favorite?
read them all, but I just try to, if I just like to, some of them I'll read the whole book, and some of them I'll just
Right.
get in, just different chapters, and just find that quiet time in my life. If I can find, at least a half hour a day where I'm reading something that's not media,
Hmm.
right? I'm not plugged into media all day long. Like some people just search their smartphones all day long, and there's just so much negativity and so many murder to this, or corruption this, or harassment that. That's really draining to the
Yes.
soul. So you got to find something that's uplifting.
Hmm. You know what I love about the books too, that book was special to me because I told you about my four brothers, and I needed something to help me through it. And instead of focusing on the negativity of having four brothers passed, I had to figure out how to hang on to the positive things in my life, and that's kind of what that book was about. So right now, that is definitely one of my favorites. But I agree, I have so many that I have a resource for.
Yeah.
So this takes us back into well, first of all, I wanted to ask you, do you have a favorite book?
That's a really tough
Yeah.
question. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say I have a fate. Well, I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and so I would say if you had to like nail it down to what is my favorite book, it'd have to be some form of the scriptures, right? But
Mhm.
um, when I'm not reading those, I don't know. I read all kinds of life story books. Anytime I can read about someone's life story, where they like about Gandhi or
Mhm.
whoever that just overcame something, I get really inspired by how people overcame
Mhm.
their trials and challenges.
That's good. Thank
I
you.
don't have any off the top of my head, but just several of books like that.
Mhm. It is hard to pick a favorite, so I put you on the spot there. So happiness. Did I ask you
Yeah.
that? I
No,
didn't.
you have not.
Yeah, that is.
Um, I find happiness in a lot of different things. I find a lot of happiness and contentment being a family man, finding time. There's a time for business and there's a time for family. Family, when it boils down to it, is my biggest happiness. When I have time with my kids, go to their games, spending time, on the date night with the wife. Um, Happiness also, to me, is derived when I feel like I'm living um, in a way that is pleasing to a power above my own,
Mhm.
where I'm living with no regrets, um, when I'm overcoming specific challenges of my own, or um, just when I have less distractions and more time to do what I think is meaningful, and when I'm helping others. Like, for example, when I write an article and share it out there, and I have many followers that will come and say, "Hey, thank you. Like, that was really uplifting. I absolutely had to hear that today." That's happiness. That's the happiness isn't always a guarantee. It doesn't happen all day long. It's not like you're sitting on cloud nine all day. And I think we all need um, others to show that appreciation. And
Mhm.
if you feel like you've served somebody, you feel like you're making a positive impact in the world in any way. There's I just call it service. So you just feel like your life is more than just about me.
I
Not
agree.
so you try to be selfless.
Mhm.
Those things I find happiness most in.
I love that, and I love your stories. To be perfectly honest, I kind of gravitate towards those, and it's part of that counteracting the negativity, and it just brings some light into my day. So I appreciate it and keep on going.
Yeah.
I forgot to use the earphones, so hopefully we'll be okay with our sound on this. But I do want to ask you what you do consistently every day that helps you in some way, whether it's in your business, in your personal life. Um,
Yeah. So I think hard work is a big one. I think these people that try to find a way to retire as fast as they can, I think they're making a big mistake. I
mhm,
think sitting on the beach is not happiness all the time. So I
mhm,
find it in my work. I find it in serving, people, my clients, or people who I associate with at work. So hard work is one. there's a time to work hard and there's a time to play hard.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be balance. Balance is a big deal in life. So I exercise every day. I believe in exercise, and I go in the gym and I play sports and I go hiking and I do whatever I can to do that. That's an important daily activity. I listen to good music every day when I get a chance. It's very calming. Some people make fun of me for the music I listen to, but guess what? It serves me well, and my mind is clear. And when my mind is clear, it's interesting, the thoughts that come to your mind, you get inspired more. So music, reading, those are, exercise. And I think at the end of the day, just holding yourself accountable
Mm-hmm.
to your thoughts and your actions, and then taking an inventory at the end of the day. Did I live up to that? Did I do things that I know better I know better than messing up on those things. But that's kind of what I do.
Thank you so much. I could talk to you all day. I really could. But I am trying to keep it down. So I think we're going to go ahead and stop there. So you told me that if people want to get a hold of you, they can use your email, chadgundry@gmail.com, or connect with you via LinkedIn, which is what I did. So yeah. I'm going to ask you to hang on for a little bit after I sign off here. And again, I just want to thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.